following video contains spoilers for the Promised Neverland anime and manga. Viewer discretion is advised. I got beef with Cloverworks, the anime studio in charge of adapting the Promised Neverland anime. And the reason why I have beef with them is because they're completely changing the entire story. For one, they're cutting out instrumental characters to the plot like Yugo and how they're introduced. Number two, they not only cut out about 50 chapters worth of character development, world building, and important just development in general, they cut out the best arc in the entire series, which was GOLDY POND. For what reason?
What was the reason? What was the reason? I just explained the reason. What was the reason, bitch?
Like, it's not making sense to me. And not only did they do that, but they're also completely changing Isabella's character arc. They're completely changing it. And it's just not making any sense to me. And I really don't get it. For what reason? The manga was perfectly fine. And I get it. The ending wasn't that solid. But that doesn't mean you change the entire thing. No! Nobody asked for this. Like, literally, they had the bag and they fumbled it. They were literally about to score. They were about to win. They were about to be in their bag and they fumbled the bag.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Learn something from this.
For what reason? For why? Why? Make it make sense, because it's not making sense to me. Like, it's not pleasing to me and my homegirls at all. No. Now, I am a Promised Neverland manga reader, and I am completely caught up in what has happened in the series, and what they are doing makes no sense. Like, they literally cut out 50 chapters worth of content from the manga. I'm gonna really break down the extremely major changes that have been happening to the Promised Neverland anime. So for one, the first major change that they are really doing to the anime is that they cut out a really important character to the story named Yugo. So if you read the manga, Yugo is one of the adults that you actually see in the series. And that is because Yugo is a survivor from one of the other premium farms in the manga. So you first meet Yugo when you enter the hideout. But when they entered the hideout in the anime, Yugo literally was not there. Like, there was no Yugo there at all. That's one huge major change that they made. And Yugo is a really important character, is because Yugo helps the kids understand what is happening in the world around them. He is used as a foil for the plot, and he's a major catalyst for other important elements of the story. For example, GOLDY POND. We would not get GOLDY POND without Yugo. Now, I'm not gonna go in depth about why GOLDY POND is extremely instrumental, but like, it is the best arc in the entire series. And not only that too, but you meet other kids from different farms at GOLDY POND, and you meet other demons, and it adds on to the world building and also the character development of characters as well. And it just adds on to the lore, and just there's so much that happens in GOLDY POND. I would not be able to talk about it all. But that's another major thing that they completely just eradicated from the anime. Another thing that they are really doing to the anime that I've noticed is that they really are censoring it in a way that's kind of weird as well. So in the hideout in the manga, there is a secret room that is basically a stockpile of weapons that the escapees from the farms can use. So there's like guns and artillery and like just different like tactical weapons and gear. But in the anime, they only have like bows and arrows, and when they open the secret room, there's really nothing there for the most part. So it's like they're out here like they're in Breath of the Wild or something like that, like they're hunters and gatherers. There's no weapons in the hideout, which is weird because them having guns and these weapons definitely adds on to the story, and it changes how the kids think about their survival. It does. But I think a very notable change though that does not sit well with me is what they are doing with Isabella's character. So if you read the manga, you know that Isabella basically becomes the grandma of the farms or whatever, and she's tasked with overseeing everything that's the operation of the production farms for the meals for the demons. But Isabella takes on this role so she can take them down from the inside and help the kids in the end. But in the anime, they're taking a completely different route. In the anime, Isabella is instead given a second chance by the demons to capture the kids. And for one, I wasn't expecting to see Isabella again so soon, and the fact that she was introduced in episode 4 of this season says a lot. So I honestly don't understand. If you were a manga reader of the Promised Neverland, they literally cut out about 50 chapters worth of content from the story. And it just does not make sense to me at all because they, again, like I said, they had 2 years to really map out and plan everything. But also it doesn't make sense for why they're making these major changes. I don't know what's happening with the studio. Like, I don't know what's going on with Cloverworks, or if there's something going on with the mangaka, if the mangaka is involved or if they're not involved. Like, I really don't understand what is happening here. Basically, in like the first 4 episodes of the season, like they completely are changing the tone of the story for the Promised Neverland. And I'm not sure if that's gonna be a good thing or a bad thing. And to be frankly honest, I don't even know if I'm going to continue watching the anime because they are literally changing so much of the story. And as a manga reader who really enjoyed reading what was happening, it feels really weird to me, and it's definitely not the same story that we were given. That being said, if you are an anime only for the Promised Neverland, and if you're also a manga reader for the Promised Neverland, we're both going into this not knowing what's going to happen in the anime. Like, nobody knows at this point, because what they're doing to the anime is like completely different from what they did in the manga. But I feel like if you're an anime only, you can still enjoy the story. But me personally, as a manga reader, I don't even know if I want to keep watching the anime, just because like I really enjoyed reading the Promised Neverland. I really loved the series because I got really hooked into it after I watched season 1, because season 1 was fire. They were in their bag in season 1, but that led me to reading the manga because I really liked it. But now they're doing all this stuff to it. I just don't know anymore. I really don't know. And that's another trend that I have been noticing that's been going on lately with anime adaptations, is that the anime adaptations are starting to go in a completely different route from the source material. And I really don't understand why they're doing this. An example of this would have to be from God of High School. It is a really popular webtoon, and it had an anime adaptation in 2020. And the anime adaptation is completely different from the webtoon. It's like 2 different stories like that are completely different. In the anime, they only really focus on the fighting and nothing else, like the animation of the fights and nothing else, for real. Like, it just completely changed the whole tone of the story. And again, that's just been a trend I'm starting to notice when it comes to these anime adaptations. So I wonder if there's something maybe going on behind the scenes with these studios, or if there's something going on with the creators of these series and an agreement to the adaptations. Like, I honestly don't know. That being said, like, I honestly was really disappointed seeing what the direction that the Promised Neverland anime was heading in, because the Promised Neverland anime, in my opinion, had probably one of the best opening episodes I have ever watched in a long time. Like, that very first episode you watched in the anime just hooks you immediately, and you fall in love with the story. And that's why I started reading the manga. And the fact that they had 2 years to really get the adaptation together, and not only just that, but they're just completely changing the entire story after having such a solid first season, doesn't make sense to me, especially because the Promised Neverland manga itself ended in the middle of 2020. And so it just really frustrates me as a fan. Like why? They did not have to do this. They really didn't have to do this.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
I honestly don't know how I feel about the anime anymore. And to be completely honest, I might just sit out watching the anime, and I just might keep tabs on it here and there, but me watching it weekly is probably gonna be a no, because I don't like what they're doing to it, and I feel like they're rushing the story too, based off of all of the major changes that they've been making. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I originally was going to talk about Cobra Kai, which is a series I really love, but after watching the most recent Promised Neverland anime episode, I just had to rant about this because it really pissed me off. Like, I'm not even being frank. It really made me upset. That being said, if you like what I had to say, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to stay notified for when I upload new videos. And also, please keep up with me on my socials, because I would love to hear from you all and talk to you all more about this topic and other subject matters as well. Matter of fact, comment down below. Well, how do you feel about the Promised Neverland adaptation? Are you an anime only or a manga reader? How do you feel? Are you on the fence about it, or are you cool with the adaptation, or you're upset with the adaptation? Let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. Well, that is all for today's video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Bye bye.